This is Father Nicholas Grace, missionary of the IVE in Tipperary, Republic of Ireland, sharing with you today St. John's Gospel, chapter 4, verses 43 to 54. At that time Jesus left Samaria for Galilee, for Jesus himself testified that a prophet has no honour in his native place. When he came into Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him, since they had seen all he had done in Jerusalem at the feast, for they themselves had gone to the feast. Then he returned to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine. Now there was a royal official whose son was ill in Capernaum. When he heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son who was near death. Jesus said to him, "Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The royal official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "You may go, your son will live." The man believed what Jesus said to him and left. While the man was on his way back, his slaves met him and told him that his boy would live. He asked them when he began to recover, and they told him, "The fever left him yesterday about 1 p.m. The father realized that just at that time Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." And he and his whole household came to believe. Now this was the second sign Jesus did when he came to Galilee from Judea. All three synoptic gospels tell of the saying of Jesus that a prophet has no honour in his own country. It was an ancient proverb with probably much the same meaning, or a similar meaning at least, as the one we hear ourselves: familiarity breeds contempt. John introduces it, though, in a strange place. Remember, John's is not one of the synoptic gospels. The other Gospels introduce it on occasions when Jesus was rejected by his own countrymen. John introduces it on an occasion when he was accepted by them. How can we speculate on this? A few of these ideas I have here I took from William Barclay. He's a commentator from the 20th century that Fulton Sheen cites sometimes. Yeah, so a little bit he gave me an idea here. Maybe Jesus set out for Galilee hoping to rest there, because he did not expect his locals to respond to him. And it may be that the same happened in Galilee as happened in Samaria, that against all expectations, there was a surge of response to his teaching. Remember, Samaritans hated Jews, Galileans, Israelites, and Israelites hated them. Yet Jesus had tremendous apostolic success there. We should mention, though, a little distinction. The Samaritans believed in Jesus not because of someone else's story, but because they themselves had heard him speak things like they had never heard before. The Galileans, on the other hand, believed in him not because someone had told them about him, but because they had seen him do things in Jerusalem. Seen things like they had never seen before. I would speculate that to believe because of the words he spoke would have far more merit than in believing because of the works he did. So this is an encouragement to all of us mere mortals who, aside from a very unlikely miraculous intervention from God, will never do miraculous works as Jesus did. But that begs a question. Are we just supposed to talk about Jesus Christ and not act like Jesus Christ? No. We are to try and imitate him in word and in deed, but in proportion to the grace that he gives us. We are to make him present to others by first making him present in ourselves. It may be that sometimes we have to argue with people until the intellectual barriers which they have erected are battered down and the citadel of their mind capitulates. That happens. But in the majority of cases, the most powerful persuasion, the most effective apostolic action, and I can tell you far more effective than convoluted pastoral plans, is to say, I know what Christ has done for me. Try him and see what he can do for you. As Catholics, we have a tremendous personal responsibility. No one is likely to attempt the experience of Christ and Christianity unless our own lives show its value. There's little use in telling people that Christ will bring them joy and peace and power if our own lives are gloomy and worried and defeated. It is important to bear in mind, because Christianity is Christ and Christ is cross. Our faith is difficult, but difficult is good. Too many people never come close to our blessed Lord because they are afraid of the trials. Indeed, G.K. Chesterton, this wonderful British author and journalist from the 20th century, he said, "The Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and left untried." My friends, people will be persuaded to try it, moved by the example that we give to them and the grace of God that we implore for them. So let us always be joyful, living out our beautiful Catholic faith, no matter what struggles we are going through, because, again, as Chesterton said, there is nothing worse than a grumpy Christian. Let's ask Mary the grace to attract to Christ even the most unlikely people through our words and deeds, however simple they may be.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing the gospel and homily, I invite you to share it with someone you know who may also find it rewarding, and also to subscribe to the Catholic Voice channel. Please see in the description below if you would like to receive a text message for each daily gospel and homily. Please also keep our missionary priests throughout the world in your prayers. Thank you, and God bless.